YouTube, what's up? Pewsily here. Another deck profile, as you can see, it is Infernity with their sexy sleeves. One of the decks that I like to double sleeve. Just going to go through is obviously updated to the September 2013 format. They're one of the decks that are, well, basically have the potential to be absolutely ridiculous. One of the reasons I'm not sort of playing them at the moment though is they do kind of lose to Veiler, and with Dragons seeing huge amounts of play and everything, Veiler is fairly popular. Although as the meta goes on, it might sort of go down in play, because Veiler in the Dragon Mirror isn't amazing, apart from negating Big Eye and Crimson Blader, sorry. So Veiler might start to see less play, which means Infernity have a better chance. But this is just sort of the deck that I've been rolling with. I might do another video to show some of the new combos with some of the new cards as well. So moving on, you have the obvious 3 Infernity Archfiend, just busted. 3 Necromancer, also busted. 2 Street Patrol, he's not actually busted, he's good. 1 Gruffer and 1 Armageddon Knight. So in comparison to previous versions, I have cut an Armageddon Knight. It's something that I said I would have done before after Nationals, but he's been cut down. You then have 2 Summoner Monk. If you open Summoner Monk and not a ton of monsters, basically if you open Summoner Monk and you don't open this, then you should win. But the thing is, when I open Summoner Monk, I always open Dark Gruffer. So Summoner Monk is just amazing though. And then a new addition is Archfiend Heiress. So dropped the Armageddon Knight for the Heiress. So what happens is when Heiress is sent to the graveyard by battle or card effect, you can search 1 Archfiend card from your deck to your hand. So that includes Infernity Archfiend as well. So you get some cool plays there with Stygian Street Patrol. Which is where Summoner Monk comes in, because you can summon a monk like into Armageddon Knight, send the Street Patrol, go into the Lavable Chain, detach something and send this to the graveyard, search an Archfiend, banish the Street Patrol and special summon the Archfiend and get a search. So there are still 13 monsters. Onto the spells, you've got the super busted Launcher, which does everything you need it to do. You've got your 1 Rotor, which searches out the Armageddon Knight and the Gruffer. With only 2 targets, it is a little bit iffy, but they are very, very important. So I think it's still worth having. You then have 2 Instant Fusion. If I can find the other one. Oh, there it is. I'm an idiot. So yeah, 2 Instant Fusion. It lets you get a level 4 or level 3 from your extra deck, so you run 1 of each. Getting a level 4 is obviously very, very important to help you make those Lavable Chains. So there's that. 2 more new cards in the form of Transmodify. Essentially, Transmodify lets you turn an Heiress if you drew it, or Necromancer into either Archfiend or actually Stygian Street Patrol as well, which is worth knowing because it's a fiend. But it essentially lets you get another search. So if you have just the bread and butter play of Necromancer, bring back Archfiend, get a search, Transmodify the Necromancer into an Archfiend, you could then search another Necromancer, go into Lavable Chain, send a Stygian, search some of the Archfiend, get another search. It essentially lets you do more with an average hand, so it's very good. One of the downsides though is it doesn't do anything for your bad hands. If you have a bad hand with Transmodify in it, your hand is then very bad. But if you have a normal hand with Transmodify in it, your hand is good. So I'd say it's worth it. Monster Gate, which I'm iffy on. I don't think it's really that great, but it can be a lifesaver. So when you go into Lavable Chain and stack an Archfiend, you then Monster Gate it. And you can do those super sacky Infernity things where you're just like, screw it, I'm going to pray I hit an Archfiend. And if you do, then yeah. Another new card then is Archfiend Palabyrinth, which can be searched with the Heiress, which is almost always what you search anyway, you search this. Because what this will allow you to do is make your Infernity Archfiends massive. It makes them 2,300 attack, so they're less likely to be destroyed by battle. So your Infernity barriers actually become much better because of this. But not only that, it'll actually let you banish a Necromancer on the field if you also have an Archfiend, and let you special summon another Archfiend from hand, deck or graveyard. And obviously pulling another Archfiend from the deck once per turn as well is pretty sick. So there's that. And obviously then banishing the Necromancer, you get some silly Leviair plays. You then have Foolish Barrier, pretty obvious. Book of Moon, because it's a very defensive deck. 3 MST. A lot of decks obviously are cutting MST at the moment because Dragon Rulers are so big. This is one of the decks, unfortunately, that can't do that. You have to be able to get around back row, otherwise your deck doesn't really do anything. Unless you've only opened with like 1 monster, but then you just set 5 traps and grind through, because your traps are probably better. Going along with that, you have 1 Night Beam. I was running 2, but you have to make room for Transmodify somewhere. So that's the spells. The traps, I do still like 3 Infernity Barrier. The reason being is Elemental Dragons are just all effects, all monster effects, and this can negate them. So it basically, in some sense, gives you like a main deck debunk that you can search. But I just don't think 2 cuts it. I think you have to have 3. Infernity Break also at 3 because it's amazing. It's out to anything that isn't a Draco Sack. And then you essentially just have staple traps. So Warning, Torrential, Bottomless. 2 Mirror Force, because Mirror Force in my opinion is still good. You then have a Compulse, and the very last card is an Archfiend's Roar. So the merit of this is it's searchable with Heiress. So you will get hands where you open with Heiress and Palabyrinth, and you're like, oh great, this Heiress is completely dead. It does nothing for you. Whereas this actually lets you search this out. So you lost the Monster Reborn, which granted isn't a very big hit, but when everyone saw all Monster Reborn's gone, I'll just chuck in a Call of the Haunted. You then sort of realise, well, this is a Call of the Haunted that doesn't die to MST and is searchable. I mean, the fact that it sort of destroys the monster during the end phase is irrelevant because you're going to be exceeding it off anyway. Plus you get a search off of it, so you can search a Necromancer or whatever you need. It's just an all-round very good card. So there's that. The extra deck is essentially all the good level 4s, or rank 4s, sorry. With this though, you do need 3 Archfiends, and they have to be DT. If you're running secret 3 level chains, so if you're running secret level chains, go burn in hell. No, I'm joking. Yeah, you need 3 level chains out. It's actually because of the Palabyrinth. It lets you do really silly things. By banishing, and transmodify as well actually, by getting rid of the Necromancer from the field, it's going to free up another spot, and it puts a level 4 on there. So you can do 3 level chains, so I highly recommend it. 2 Direwolf, still needed in my opinion, same as before, you get your same stupid plays. Abyss Dweller, because mermaids and dragons, you know. Still some Roach, kind of iffy about, would probably cut for a Evil Swarm Ouroboros if I actually had one. But I don't think Ouroboros is really that needed, and Roach is still, has some niche uses. Maelstrom, kind of good. Cowboy, for those OTK plays where you get 4 1,800 attack monsters on the field and then you Cowboy for game. Master Keybeater was a new one. A, he's an EEV and DDV target. B, he can protect your face-up attack position Necromancers to keep your Infernity Barriers live. And he's just big, so yeah, he's fun. Wind up Zemains, because level 3s, and sometimes your hand is so rough, you just need to stall. And then you have 2 Leviers. 2 Levier still needed for, again, those same plays that I've shown you before, where you Direwolf your own Levier. And then to round it off, you have your 2 fusions. I'm using the same ones still. I mean, in theory, you could use a level 3 Beast, so that you could instant fusion a target for your Direwolf, but that's it. There's also Therio as well, where you could use he's dark, so you can make Keybeater with him, but there's Therio where you can use a Warrior, so that you can instant fusion and Dark Grepher or Armageddon Knight into Blade Knight to do massive damage, but that's really, really niche. So yeah, that's what I've been running. The side deck I don't actually have one built, but would basically just be lots of stuff for dragons, to be honest with you. Yeah, that's about it. Some people do actually side deck Tour Guide, because game 2 and 3 technically should be a lot more grindy if people are putting in hand traps and things, but yeah, you don't have to. Just I'm not entirely sure if you can see it. This is a picture I took the other day when I was solitaring this deck. I opened Infernity Break, Archfiend Roar, Instant Fusion, Transmodify, Summon a Monk, and Infernity Archfiend, and I ended with this Palabyrinth, 2 level chains, 3 Archfiends, 3 Infernity Barrier, a Break, and the Roar. So yeah, that's the kind of sick things it can do. Obviously solitaring, so you know, just going through the motions as if there's no hand trap or anything, but those 6 cards became those 11. So that's the kind of crazy things it has the potential to do, and you know, the deck is built to be able to do those things. It's just when you get Veilored is basically when you need to learn how to grind games out. So there we are, that is the much requested updated deck. I may very well do some combo videos again for you to show you some of the new stuff you can do with the Archfiend things, and with Transmodify obviously as well included in there. So yeah, thumbs up guys.